Kristen at Cooking in the County, and today I'm going to bring you a delicious meatloaf recipe. Now this recipe is the very first Cooking in the County video I ever did. I did my meatloaf. That was over 2 years ago. My channel has grown. It hasn't grown as much as I thought it might have, but I feel like if I keep going, it's gonna happen. But I thought I would bring you my meatloaf. Well, it's not mine. It's a recipe from a whole bunch of other recipes that you get online. The majority of this recipe is from the Pioneer Woman, but I've changed it up. So you always make your recipe your own, right? So, like I said a couple videos ago, I've been watching a lot of TikToks, and people are adding stuffing to the meatloaf. So originally I add bread to my meatloaf, so I'm going to be adding Bell's stuffing because Bell's stuffing is my absolute favorite. So I'm going to try this in my meatloaf recipe. So it is quite a few ingredients. I know everybody's busy and they don't always have time to be throwing all this together, but if you have the time, this is one of the best meatloaves I've ever tasted. I've always hated meatloaf, but after tasting this meatloaf, everybody in my family has changed their minds about meatloaf. So when you have the time, try this meatloaf recipe. So here's a list of ingredients you're gonna need to make this yummy meatloaf. All the ingredients will be listed in the description below. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is add 1 cup of Bell's stuffing. Obviously try stovetop, whatever stuffing you want, but you just need a cup of it. Okay, and we're going to be adding a 1/2 cup of milk to this. And we're gonna let this sit and soak up while we do the rest of what we need. Okay. Just get that all stirred up. We're not cooking it, nothing. We're just gonna let this soak in the milk. I think this is gonna be really good. When I saw them putting stuffing in their meatloaf, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have got to try that. Okay, so need our bowl. 1 pound of hamburger. Put this into your bowl. Wash my hands. We're going to add 2 eggs to this. The original recipe calls for 2 pounds of hamburger. I am only halving this recipe because it's a lot of meatloaf for just the 2 of us. Everybody else has all their meal plans that they like. They have other food they want to eat. So I'm halving this recipe. So we only need 1 pound of hamburger, 2 eggs. And that. Couple shakes of hot sauce. If you don't like hot sauce, don't add it. It doesn't make it hot, it just gives it an amazing flavor. So, ooh, guess who? That's Murphy. You didn't hear him in the last video, but today he's going for it. So we need a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of seasoned salt, 1/2 teaspoon of dry mustard, and house seasoning. Talk about my house seasoning a lot. Salt, pepper, garlic. I'll do a whole teaspoon of that. Okay. All right. We also need, it's supposed to be 1/3, so we're just going to put a sprinkle in here. Just put enough. Okay. And I know it's going to be gross. I got to take my ring off. I got to mush this all together. It's going to sound disgusting, feel disgusting, but really, it's the only way to do it. I promise. And I know they talk about don't handle hamburger meat a lot because it'll make it tough, but you kind of want this to have a little bit of substance to it because it is a meatloaf and it's going to be baking in the oven. It's gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour to cook, so plan ahead when you want to do this. My hamburger was still a little frozen, so I'm trying to break it up a little bit. Honestly, like, this is one of the best meatloaves I have ever tasted. It is so good. It's not that greasy, yucky. No, this is so good. Okay, just breaking up all the ice in here. Okay, so we're gonna add our stuffing to this. I think it's gonna be so good. Okay, let me wash my hands. Okay, now we're gonna add our stuffing to this. Add it right in there. Mush it all up. I know, it sounds gross. But it's not gonna be gross. It's gonna be so yummy. I promise. Okay. So, there you go. There's your meatloaf. I'm gonna wash up just a second and then we're gonna put some bacon on it. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce to put on top. We're gonna need 1 cup of ketchup. Couple more shakes of hot sauce. Maybe a teaspoon of dry mustard. And about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Okay. Mix this up. So we're gonna put some of this sauce on the meatloaf while it's cooking and some on after. So be very cautious of not contaminating this because you're gonna put this sauce on afterwards. Break up the brown sugar. Okay. Alrighty. Now it looks like my camera is low on battery, so I need to plug it in, so give me a few minutes. You're gonna need a pan. Put tinfoil or some parchment paper down because it's gonna get messy, and I don't know if anybody wants to be scrubbing their pan all night long. So we're just gonna take our meatloaf and we're gonna we'll move it around here. Okay, we're just gonna smooth this out, make it a loaf, but we're not putting it in a bread pan. We're gonna bake it right here, and I really feel like this is what makes the difference right here. Okay, like this smells so good already, like just the sauce. Okay, so and I kind of flat it a little bit, as you can see maybe how I'm doing it. Okay, a lot of hand washing. Really nice to have some scissors that you can actually use in your kitchen that you only use for your kitchen. Sometimes you just need a pair of scissors. A knife sometimes just doesn't always cut it. Now we're going to be adding some sauce on top. But we do not want to contaminate this because we're gonna put it on after as well, okay? So don't touch your spoon to the meat. Put enough sauce on there, about half of the sauce. Okay, now don't put your spoon back in here. Now we're gonna use our spoon to spread this, okay? Put this over our meatloaf. I really, really, really hope you guys try this because it is one of the best meatloaves. And I know I almost put it in there. It almost seems like it's a lot of ingredients, gonna take a lot of time, but it's really not taking a lot of time to do this, guys. Okay, also, I like really crispy bacon. If you don't mind your bacon to be a little undercooked, you can take a full slice of bacon and put it and tuck it under your meatloaf. I do not tuck my bacon. I keep it right on the edges, okay? I don't tuck it because I feel like it doesn't cook very well. So I am just making the bacon long enough to go from end to end. And use these scissors, use some kitchen scissors. It works so much easier sometimes than a knife, or not necessarily easier, but quicker. Quicker for sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this. That. Try to make all of them fit. And one more. Okay, I mean, I know it seems like a lot of ingredients, but we're already done, okay? Now, this is going to bake in an oven at 350 for 45 minutes to an hour, really depending. You might need a meat thermometer just to check, but this is what it's gonna look like before we put it in the oven. Okay, so 350 for 45 to an hour. We're gonna bring it back out. We're gonna put more sauce on it, put it under the broiler, have some mashed potatoes and green beans. It is going to be so yummy. Okay, see you in about an hour. Okay, it's been 1 hour since I put it in there. Still needs to get a little bit more crispy. We're gonna put some sauce on it on the top. It does look a little dark around here, but it's just from the juices. I'm gonna put it under the boiler for about 5 minutes. Not a ton of sauce, just a little bit. Okay, put it under the broiler for 5 minutes. We're gonna take it out. It's gonna be so yummy. Okay, we have our plate ready. We have some mashed potatoes and some green beans. And the star of the show, our meatloaf. So good. How awesome that looks. Okay, I'm gonna cut it. It's very hot. See a thing that I'm doing. Okay. I'm telling you, this is the best meatloaf you'll ever have. Okay. We're definitely going to be putting stuffing in there from now on. We're going to add just a little bit more sauce onto the top. And taste it. Like, really taste it. That is so good. You're gonna have to try this, guys. I know it's a lot of ingredients, but it's so good. And you're gonna wanna try it with the stuffing. I'm just gonna keep eating it. Okay, guys. Let me know if you try this meatloaf recipe because it's freaking amazing. I'm even gonna get my son-in-law to try it. We'll see if he likes it or not. So next week I'm gonna do a Oreo poke cake with the Oreo pudding. I didn't even know they made Oreo pudding, but I bought it and I can't wait to try this Oreo poke cake. And then another couple little supper meals coming. So please, guys, try the meatloaf. Sorry about Murphy. There's a thunderstorm coming and he just can't stop barking. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and make the meatloaf. Okay, see you. Bye.